Hello and welcome to another episode of Taylor Talks Comics. Today we're going to be covering Savage Dragon Ultimate Collection Volume 2. Stay tuned. All right, thank you so much for joining me, whether you're joining me on the Organic Price Books YouTube channel or the Taylor Talks Comics YouTube channel. Either way, give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And real quickly, I do have a OPB promo code. So if you shop at Organic Price Books and you buy 1, 2, or 3 books, you can use my promo code Taylor Talks Comics at checkout and you'll save $2 off your order. But if you order 4 or more books, you can use my code TTC Ship It Together, and I'll save you 5% off of that big order of books you're making. So either of those promo codes, make sure you use those. Those are also in the description down below if you forget what they are. All right, so today, this is coming courtesy of Organic Price Books. They sent me out a reader's copy of Savage Dragon. Kind of serendipitous because one of my first OPB videos I did last year was the Savage Dragon Ultimate Collection Volume 1. So this is what they both look like, Volume 1 and Volume 2. This is the new one that just came out, though, and what the video will be about. But first, I do want to show off the spines and how they'll look on the shelf together. They both look very cohesive, nice and orderly. It's going to look nice on the shelf. And then here's what the backs look like here. And they are the same size as same trim size as an OHC or a DC Deluxe Edition, or more probably commonly known, the Omnibus Edition for DC or Marvel. Same exact trim size. Same width, height. Height, not height. Height is not a word. All right, so before we dive into what the story's about and what this volume covers, I'm going to show off the book itself a little bit. It does have a dust jacket, and just like Volume 1, you got some flaps there, a little bio of Erik Larsen. But just like Volume 1, underneath the dust jacket is the exact same thing that you see on the dust jacket. On the spine, on the front, and on the back. So no difference there. I will also note that it does have a flat spine. I know that's important for some people. Then you get these beautiful end papers. And also like Volume 1, the end papers on the front and the back are different. So I love that. And they're blown up images. I always think that's a great use of showing off some cool artwork. Blowing up images like that. Then we got the front here. And we have the credits page. Erik Larsen, he is getting closer and closer to issue number 300 of Savage Dragon. And it is the longest running full color comic that is written and drawn by the same person. I think it's the record that he holds. Because Spawn eclipsed 300, but Todd McFarlane's not always written or drawn it. And Cerebus stopped at 300, but wasn't full color. I guess that's the difference there. The only difference, or the only credits here, we have Chris Eliopoulos is on the lettering, and Ruben Rude is on the colorist. And you'll have some other names here for people that did color separations, or I think that's it, yeah. Then we have an introduction by Erik Larsen. I believe Robert Kirkman did the introduction for Volume 1. So this one is by Erik Larsen. And you get a little synopsis here. What is on this book? You get a little synopsis here about what was going on in Savage Dragon in the career of Erik Larsen at the time, which the biggest thing was while he was working on this concurrently, he was also ramping up to launch the Savage Dragon animated series. And you'll get a little bit of back matter on that after this. And this collection, though, collects issues 13 through 21, I believe. It says back here. Yeah, oh, sorry. Issues 9 through 21, and then WildCATS number 14. The important note there is that issue number 13 of Savage Dragon. So when the actual issue 13 came out, it was during what they called Image X month. And I'm just going to flip through here while I'm talking about this. In Image X month was where each of the image creators switched books. So they were doing the artwork and sometimes the writing on a different book. So in that case, Erik Larsen did WildCATS number 14, and that's what is included in here because he interspersed that issue into what was going on with Savage Dragon. Because back then, the Image Founding Fathers were kind of doing a little bit of a shared universe. Like, you'll see an appearance by Spawn in here, a very small cameo appearance, but an appearance nonetheless. And you'll see different characters mention Spawn or Youngblood and that kind of thing. So Erik Larsen very much in his WildCATS 14, he made it almost a Savage Dragon story. So that's included in here. However, Savage Dragon number 13, Jim Lee did that issue, and that issue is not included in here. However, you're not missing an issue because Erik Larsen went back and did his own Savage Dragon number 13. So if you're ever looking for single issues, there's actually 2 Savage Dragon number 13s. The one with the Jim Lee cover is the one that I guess has kind of been deemed non-canon a little bit. But the one with the Erik Larsen cover is the one that he actually retroactively did and put it in there because he wanted to have the current. I think his goal was to do 102 issues at first to match the Jack Kirby Stan Lee number of Fantastic Four. So yeah, that's a little bit of story on here. A little fun anecdotes here. This issue here, which I believe is issue number 9, includes a fan-created character, which is this Jimbo guy. This is a giant crab character. And let me see. Oh, there he is. There's a bigger image of him. He was created by a fan. Erik Larsen, in very much in the Image tradition, said like you have 100% control in ownership over that character. The contest is just so that I'll use him for one issue. And he even does this cool thing at the end of the issue where a little bit of a spoiler, but it's not. He's a non-consequential character. At the end of the issue, the character seemingly gets the win over Savage Dragon in their fight, and then he goes off thinking he has the win. Savage Dragon gets up and says like, "Yeah, I just gave him the win," because then he would stop causing all this destruction. So there's no. He doesn't make the character look bad or anything. I do wish that the character, that person that created him, would bring him back in some capacity. I don't think they're even in comics. I don't know if they read comics anymore. This is a very long time ago. But it would have been cool to see the character come about later when he grew up a little bit, I guess, the creator. I do want to note, too, as far as the formatting goes, my biggest knock on this collection, and there is a nice little tribute to Keith Giffen here, too, real quickly. But my biggest knock on both of these collections is the covers are collected at the end of the book. There are no designations of when the chapters end or begin or when the issues end or begin. It's extremely frustrating. I don't understand why comics creators collect books that way. I don't, for the life of me, it doesn't make any sense. I've heard the argument that they want it when it's collected to be read like a novel. However, I would argue that novels still have chapter breaks. They don't just run together without chapters. And also, my counter argument to that is that these were all written as monthly issues and paced that way. So as a 22-page or whatever it was monthly issue, it was paced to be that story and then have a beginning, middle, and end, and sometimes end on a cliffhanger, and then the next story would begin. So I don't know why the covers aren't collected in between issues, or there's not even any sort of designation of chapter breaks. It literally just bleeds together throughout. My only gripe with this collection, because otherwise I love Savage Dragon as a comic, and I love this. The collection itself is great. So, if you're not familiar with Savage Dragon, I do have a video on Organic Price Books channel. If you look up Organic Price Books Savage Dragon, to see a little bit about that. But to catch you up a little bit, he's this character that in the first issue, literally the first panel, which is the in papers of Volume 1, he is found in that burning field of fire, and they find this green super freak, they call him, as the which is not abnormal because there's a lot of superhero or superpowered characters within this world. But the fact that he looks mostly human, he's just green with a fin on top of his head, and has super strength and healing power. They discover, but he has no recollection of who he is or where he comes from. So he's amnesiac they call him. But the chief of police convinces him to be a police officer. So a little bit unlike other superheroes, he's not into the whole glamour and glitz and glamour of wearing tights and fighting crime. He just wants to be a police officer and fight crime on the side of the government, I guess. But there are also all kinds of other superhero powered freaks involved, good and bad. This is the WildCATS issue number 14 that he does, where the Freak Force, which is the super, kind of like the Justice League of the Savage Dragon universe, I guess, is fighting the WildCATS. But Erik Larsen, throughout my elevator pitch to this is that this is a comic book written for fans of that grew up almost in the Bronze Age of comics, but want something a little bit more gritty. For fans of today, it would be wanting to explore one of the better 90s comics, because the storytelling is really, really great. I do think of all the Founding Fathers comics, if you count like Spawn or WildCATS, Shadowhawk, Youngblood, I think this one's the best and one that holds up the best because the storytelling is so good and because the artwork is so great. Erik Larsen, I think, was one of the more polished of all those artists in making his art style, I think, holds up better than some of the others, because he does kind of have a Bronze Age art style to it. But he definitely ups the ante on the sex and violence in this comic. It is a mature title. Volume 1 is that, but it just escalates even further, and as the series progresses, escalates even further from there. But you do have a lot of cool character designs and character creations of good and bad. Just amazing artwork by Erik Larsen. He has very much a Kirby influence style, but he brings it up to date for that 90s extreme style, but not going too extreme, I don't think, as far as some of its contemporaries went. But a lot of cool characters and character designs throughout this too that you meet. Some of them become monsters of the week, where you only see them for an episode or an issue here or there, but some of them they will come back. Really was a world that Erik Larsen was building, and one that I've wished that was be collected. So I'm glad that this is finally being collected. The releases do seem a little bit slow in these Ultimate Collections, and they're only collecting about 13 issues a piece, nearing the fact that we're close to issue 300. I mean, just doing some math there, we're looking at 25 to 30 volumes of this series. So I kind of hope they up the amount that they would be releasing these, because I think the longer they wait, when they get to volume 17, 18, 19 or whatever, the higher number of volumes, I think the less people will probably be buying them. Erik Larsen does all these Kirby-esque double page splashes too, which I love. But yeah, so the back matter of volume 1 was chock full. If you just look at the pages here on the screen, all the white pages, there's all the back matter. This one has a little bit less back matter, as you can see. And I think that a lot of that's because that's the first volume, and you get a lot of the creation of the characters. Here's all the covers, though. Sometimes they have the trade dress, sometimes they don't. That is the fan-created character right there. But yeah, I wish these were collected between the issues. It's super frustrating. If I ever had a chance to ask Erik Larsen, I would ask him, because he does seem very conscientious and very thoughtful about how comics are collected. I hear him make comments on Marvel's omnibus collections a lot and those kinds of things. So it kind of blows my mind that wasn't. I would want to know what his reasoning for that, I guess. And then here's the Erik Larsen sketchbook. Now this is really cool because it's not just your typical sketchbook where they just throw in a bunch of drawings in. He actually throws in a lot of anecdotes about what you're looking at and when it was drawn and if it was ever used. Here's some sketches about the animated series, which is cool because if you ever seen a comic book adapted to animated series, you know that the line is a little bit more sparse of the characters. You don't have as much details and definitions on muscles and whatnot because it becomes harder to animate that way. So you see him kind of working out a less detailed art style for some of these characters. Then you get some layouts and cover layouts and more cool stuff. So yeah, that is the Savage Dragon Ultimate Collection Volume 2. Let me know in the comments if you plan on picking this up, what your thoughts are on Savage Dragon. Give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget, I do have that OPB promo code. Taylor Talks Comics will save you $2 off of any order. And if you're ordering 4 or more books, you can use TTC, ship it together, and save 5% off of that big order. So this is Savage Dragon Ultimate Collection Volume 2. This has been Taylor Talks Comics. Have a great day.